Good morning, everyone. Catherine, we're good to go? Okay. I'd like to go ahead and call this Municipal Planning Commission meeting for the County of Newell for December the 11th to order. We have no empty seats around the horseshoe, so no reason for excuse from the meeting. Minutes. The minutes from our last MPC meeting of November 27th are in your package. How do you wish to handle them? Adina? Oh, sorry, Councillor Scandra.
I move we adopt the minutes.
Okay. Councillor Scandra moves we adopt those minutes as circulated. All in favor of that motion? That is carried. Are there any post-agenda items? Seeing none, nods. A motion to accept the agenda is in order then. Councillor Kopp. All in favor of that motion? That is carried. 6, item 6, permitted use items. Are there questions? One item on the list this time around. Shannalee, please.
Thank you. I just wanted to make note that this business is an existing business in the county that was relocated.
Okay, thank you. Not a new business, in other words. Thank you for that. We'll accept that for information then. Thank you. Item 7.1, subdivisions on our agenda. Maria, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. This application is initiated by the county. The proposed subdivision is located within the hamlet of Lake Nowell Resort. The road plan is owned by the EID. A portion of the road needs to be subdivided to separate it from the remainder of the road plan in order to change the ownership and complete the pathway project to Lake Nowell Resort. There were no concerns raised by adjacent landowners, internal departments, or referral agencies, and it is recommended that this subdivision be approved with conditions. Municipal reserve is applicable as this doesn't meet the provisions of the Municipal Government Act. So there are two options. One is that municipal reserve be taken as money in place of land, for a total of approximately $1,738. The other option would be that this be deferred, and what we can do is, and I'll explain this, so a portion of this was subdivided by the county previously, and there's a deferred reserve caveat that is being put on that for the municipal reserve owing for that parcel. So we could add the municipal reserve from this and add it to this so that in the future, if that's ever subdivided further, then that municipal reserve will become applicable. So those are the two options. I think either of them are fine. One deals with it right away and one leaves it for the future.
Thank you. All right, so we have a decision to make there. It sounds to me like we've already set a precedent in the area on this topic. So how does MPC? Councillor Kopp.
Through the chair, I was wondering who would actually pay the MR if we said it was for the money. Is that the pathway people paying that, or is that us or the EID?
Maria?
The municipal reserve is the responsibility of the applicant, so that would be the county. And then that money would get put into a municipal reserve fund, and there are specific ways that that could be used only for municipal reserve purposes.
Councillor Screever.
I'm just looking at, through the chair, just looking at what the potential development would be for both of those parcels. The one parcel being on the north side there, is there really any opportunity to expand that area between the pathway and the road, as far as the subdivision would be, whether it's commercial lots or whether it's residential lots or whatever, or would it be best to move that MR allocation over to around the pond area? That area a little bit more available for subdivision for residential or commercial use? I don't know. I'm just wondering if it's worth putting it over to there. What's your thoughts on that?
Maria?
I would agree with that the municipal reserve dedicating it onto this piece really makes it kind of null, where if we put it onto here, then one day if it is subdivided, it could become applicable, and then that would be applicable to the county if they still own it or whoever the owner is at that time.
Any other questions? Thanks, Maria. Councillor Johnson?
If it was approved that we pay the county pays the municipal reserve, it's likely a question for Matt, so through the chair, where does that money come from? What fund?
Matt?
Yeah, through the chair, it would come from your unrestricted surplus. So out of your bank account, checking bank account, and into your municipal reserve bank account.
Maria?
Sorry, I guess I didn't really give a recommendation and I should have done that. So because this piece historically, well, a few months ago, was decided to defer, I would recommend that this be deferred to this parcel. So we'll change that deferred reserve caveat to include this additional parcel of land.
And I did read into your comments that was the preferred, but it's nice when it's stated clearly. Thank you. Do we have a motion? Councillor Screever.
Yes, I'd like to make that motion based on what Maria just said to defer. That would be option two. Option two, yes, to defer the MR. Yes, municipal reserve. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further questions on the motion? All in favor of the motion? That is carried then. Thank you for that. Item 7.2. Maria.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This application is to subdivide a 3.38 acre parcel from the southwest of 1514 for residential purposes. The land is located 5 kilometers northwest of the hamlet of Rolling Hills. The proposed subdivision includes a house and 4 sheds, and all development meets the setbacks of the land use bylaw. The house is serviced by regional water for potable water and an open discharge septic disposal system. The private septic disposal system will need to be reviewed to ensure compliance with the Alberta Safety Code. Access to the proposed subdivision is from Range Road 14-2, and there is access to the remnant parcel from 14-2 as well as Highway 530. There are no noted wetlands present on the proposed subdivision. The northwest corner of this section has a high potential to contain historic resources. However, that's not included where this development is. And there are no environmentally significant areas within the subject parcel. There is an abandoned well on the quarter, but again, it's not located within the proposed subdivision. There were no concerns raised by adjacent landowners, internal departments, and we did hear from the EID. They have no objections subject to their standard conditions regarding the rural water use purposes agreement for the subdivision. And we also heard from Alberta Transportation. While they are not opposed to this subdivision, they are requiring a 20-meter service road by way of caveat along the highway frontage. So that would be along this, 20 meters along this. So that would be, it would just be put on title as caveat, and then should there be further development or Alberta Transportation would require a service road at any time, then they can use that caveat to get that completed. So it is recommended that this subdivision be approved with the conditions that property taxes are paid, that any utility right-of-ways, easements, or agreements are submitted to us prior to finalization. So that includes anything required by the EID, that the 20-meter wide service road be dedicated by caveat along the highway frontage, and that the applicant work with Alberta Transportation to finalize that condition. If required, the applicant enters into a development agreement with the county, and that the applicant provide proof that the current septic system meets the Alberta private sewage system standards prior to the finalization of subdivision. And reserve is not applicable in this instance because this is the first parcel out of the quarter section. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for all of that. Are there questions? Councillor Kopp.
More just of a comment. I absolutely love all the straight square lines. And I would be ready to make the motion to approve this with conditions.
As recommended. Are there any other questions or comments? Councillor Johnson?
I don't know if you know the answer to this, but the northwest corner is nowhere near any water or anything. Any idea why that would be considered a high probability of having historic resources?
Maria?
We have a map from the provincial government that shows where they think there is probability of historical resources. So along Dinosaur Park, along a lot of the coulees, there's paleontological sites, potential sites. There's also archaeological sites. So I can't remember exactly what this one is, but there may have been some native settlement or something at some point, and they've just flagged that. So what that means is that the landowner is responsible if they find anything at any point that they need to discuss with the Minister of Historical Resources, and they have to just make sure they do their due diligence.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call the big question. All in favor of the motion? That is carried. Is there any other business? We had none brought forward. There were no post-agenda items. Is there a reason for in-camera? Seeing heads shake no. There's no information items. Are there any questions in the queue, Catherine? Seeing none, I'll adjourn the meeting.
o'clock. I'll welcome you to our last Municipal Council meeting for 2025, December 11th. I think we're all here this morning, so no one needs to be excused. We have the minutes of the November 27th meeting. Are there any errors or omissions or a motion to approve as circulated? Councillor Christman, motion. All in favor, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Are there any post-agenda items to add to the agenda? Anyone have any post-agenda items? We do have delegations, a delegation at 11 o'clock, another one at 1 o'clock. Other than that, a motion to adopt the agenda as circulated would be in order. Councillor Johnson, all in favor, please indicate. Thank you. That is carried. Question period or notices of motion. Anything out in the electronic media? Nothing? I see none on the floor either, so we will move directly to item 7.1, bylaw 2109-26, schedule of fees. Our CAO, Chief Administrative Officer, Mr. Matt Fensky, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Council. Reeve Dirksen. Should not be too many surprises in the schedule of fees bylaw. We have talked about utility rates a few times in our budget planning meetings, so you'll see updates there. You'll see some housekeeping on the fire response rates, which are anchored to the Alberta government rates. You'll notice dust abatement is proposed to increase by less, and we'll get into this a little bit later with Council on the dust abatement award. Administration's proposing a softer increase on dust abatement fees. We've updated your minibus rate and taken some of our learnings from the first year with CDC South and adjusted some of those rates there. So I am open for questions. If there are questions, we're looking for first reading to get the bylaw out to the wide world, and then we'd get second and third at that first meeting in January.
Thank you for that. Are there any questions? Councillor Johnson, please.
Under the change to the 120 per half mile or portion thereof, not that I'm opposed to that increase, I'm just wondering when this is going to come back to council to look at those rates. They are much lower than I think market rate would be, and that needs to be, I think, a priority. I've been talking about this for a couple of years now.
Go ahead, Matt.
Administration's intention with the road allowance lease, we can certainly bring back and have a more fulsome conversation if council wishes. Where we've anchored that is to be equivalent to the minimum rate per acre we charge for any other county land. With respect to undeveloped road allowances coming under closure and lease and applying a nominal charge to those folks who look for that security, administration's view is we're not really looking at that as a revenue line, like a moneymaker for us. Our view is if a ratepayer wants to use an undeveloped road allowance to their benefit, we want to protect their interest. Get the signs up saying road closed under lease to protect the investment they've made on that undeveloped road allowance. If council's view is we should have a market rate for grassland or irrigated land, administration is likely to recommend we don't go there. But we're happy to have a more fulsome conversation if council thinks we need to squeeze a little bit more out of the folks who close and lease our road allowances. Currently, it would be sufficient to cover a bit of the administrative effort around the process and a little bit back to the public for giving up access.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Comments or a motion to approve first reading? Councillor Christman?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with this bylaw, so I would make a motion to approve as distributed.
Okay, thank you. So that the motion is to approve first reading, which means that this bylaw would get circulated as our CAO has indicated to the public, and then we'll have second and third reading based on responses, if any, that we get based on that. So further question or comment? Councillor Johnson?
Yeah, I'm definitely against giving that land away, but I support the bylaw.
Okay.
We do need revenue streams, you know.
Okay, thank you. Call the question. All in favor of the motion to approve first reading, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Thank you. Let's move on to item number 8, Agriculture Services Board business, and I will invite Mr. Todd Green to the floor, please. Welcome, Mr. Green.
Thank you for having me. All right, so just a quick and dirty update for everybody. It's a different time of year. It's a different type of busy, but it's always great to be in front of you and let you know that we are continually working hard for you. So this time of year, as you can imagine, the weeds are kind of put to bed. The grass is time to be done mowing. It is a beautiful day out there today, but we're happy to have things parked. So a little bit of grant reporting, a little bit of special use approval reporting. If you guys are not aware, we have a special use approval with the province so we can spray closer than 30 meters to the water's edge for noxious weed control. So that helps us in quite a few areas, and we have to report on all of those areas. We did get quite a bit of CCIP engagement. Thank you, Catherine, for putting out that wonderful social media post that seemed to go province-wide. So that was a lot of fun conversations after that. Speaking of noxious weeds, you might have noticed that we have a new one. The EID has outlined that they have pale yellow iris, which is a prohibited noxious weed around the north shores of the Lake Newell Reservoir. So we've been working with their crews to kind of come up with a plan. I think we have a decent plan. We'll be doing a little bit of chemical applications as well as probably some physical removal of those plants next year. So not really an exciting one, but it is a beautiful plant if you guys have ever taken a look there. We do tend to, a lot of the weeds that we take care of tend to be quite nice to look at. This time of year, a lot of shop work, so equipment maintenance. One of the cool ones that we've always done here, at least in my 20 years, is we always build our own sprayers. So Howard and team are building a new roadside spray unit, so we're pretty excited. That's kind of coming together. We realistically don't anticipate having that done before February, but all of the stuff is in this budget year, so we're buying it all to put together kind of like a puzzle. So hopefully sometime in the new year we'll be able to showcase that for you. Maybe even at a council meeting we can walk down and see the great work they did. Facility maintenance is big this time of year. As you can imagine, HVAC systems get stressed to the max when it's cold outside. So we put a new furnace in at the Tilly Fire Hall. We got the CDC stuff going crazy. And I won't touch on CDC stuff too much because I believe Candace is coming in later to give you guys a full report. We do have the ASB conference registration. I emailed that out to you guys, the agenda. I would love to hear from you today so we can get that registration sent out, whether it's an email to me or not. I've marked Neil down as a yes already, so I don't know if that sways or dissuades anybody from wanting to come. My apologies, Councillor Johnson. I'm still going to keep with my stick there, but I should have been more professional. We are actively doing environmental farm plans. The December 31st deadline for anybody for the Agri Invest is coming up. So Austin's busy with that. I think he's got 3 over the next couple days. When I walked down here, he was sitting with a wonderful producer right now. We are deep in the throes of hiring a new teammate. As you guys know, Will Scopp is retiring. His last day is before the end of this year. So this afternoon and tomorrow we're meeting some wonderful potential candidates. I'm sure it's going to be a very difficult task to fill that role. And then I think you guys got a very long-winded email this morning about the avian influenza. So we did have one backyard flock that was identified as being infected. So CFIA and the province have gone through the identification process, the notification process, and they allowed us to be a part of that. We don't get involved all that often. We do have responsibility under the Provincial Animal Health Act to help if they require it. No different than when we had the TB outbreak. There was no real requirement asked of us. We're just available if they need us. So just as an aside for that. Otherwise, like I say, the email that Matt sent out has really good links in it. I went through a few of them this morning myself. So thank you very much for sending that out. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Todd. Are there questions this morning or comments? Oh, Councillor Johnson, please go ahead.
Good morning. How was the avian flu identified? Like, did somebody call it in? Was it, do you know?
I don't know. I know that backyard flocks are more susceptible because they're more in contact with potentially the migratory birds flying over. And typically, I would say our backyard flocks don't have as much biosecurity as our commercial flocks. But yeah, I would suspect there was a sick bird that was identified and questions were raised.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hofer.
I could answer that one, as there was one notified in town here the other day by my wife, and she said it was running around the parking lot like it was drunk with its head flopping over, defecated everywhere. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you. And we'll see you later in the day. And all the best with your interview process today. Thank you. Let's move on then to item the interim budget 9.1 administrative business. Welcome Stephanie Hansen to the floor. Our controller.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am before you to request that council approves the 2026 interim budget. Since we last met, there were only a couple, one big change and one minor change that we made to what we had previously presented to you. And that was, we added a project for the Gem Ballast Pit Road construction. And then we just did a little reallocating of some transfer payments that we were going to possibly give to the City of Brooks. So we do need to have the interim budget approved before we start the calendar year in 2026. So I'm looking for a motion for the 2026 interim budget to be approved.
Thank you. That would indicate that today is the day, right? Any questions or comments or a motion to approve the interim budget as presented? Councillor Johnson, please.
We did talk, excuse me, we did talk about bringing fire back today, some of those costs that were brought forward. I don't know if we're going to discuss it or not, but we had a fairly lengthy discussion 2 weeks ago and we said we'd bring it back today. So I'm just wondering where people are what people were thinking about that.
Thank you for that. Are there any responses to that? Councillor Scandra, please.
Well, there was a pretty big ask for the fire department, and I am not in favor of the training trailer. I feel like some of the other things are very important, and like we could have one trailer, or we could have how many ground monitors for the same cost. And then the washers also seem, very important. That's my opinion anyway. I don't feel that the training trailer is that big a need at this time.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Baumgarten, please.
I think there might be some confusion. Those trailers aren't for training, they're for response. But yes, there was some ambiguity. Stuart didn't give us a detailed breakdown of the contents. There was more of a general, like cold water rescue, grain entrapment rescue, those types of incidents. So yeah, I was anticipating or hoping that we would see a breakdown of what emergencies those trailers were for, what the costs were, and then maybe we could debate it a bit. But yeah, they're definitely not for training, they're for response. So yeah, without having that information, I don't know if it's, do we kick the can down the road and not approve buying them until we see the details behind them, or what would be the proper procedure now? Through the chair, if I should say that.
Thank you. I'll can be corrected, but I'm going to suggest that this is an interim budget and it will be revisited several more times before it's approved. Correct? Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd suggest if there's capital items that council hesitates or would like to see additional information on before including them in the budget, that if you want them removed, I would remove them before approving the interim budget. We can easily bring back additional information January, February as we lead into final budget. The risk, if you approve capital items today, my team is going to go to work on procurement, right? So if there's any hesitancy, I would just say you make the motion to remove item X, Y, or Z, take the vote, and we can proceed on that basis. And then administration for any items that are removed that council wishes to consider further. If we can get direction to that effect, we'll pull some additional information together and bring it back as part of the final budget conversation.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. That helps. I think that it's sufficient. Go ahead, Councillor Kopp.
Through the chair, I guess I'm looking for a little bit more clarification then, because I was understanding that they were also for, that there was a training trailer of some sort as well. But was that taken off, or did we misunderstand what Stuart had brought up before? Because apparently Councillor Skanderup and I were thinking the same.
Okay. Some uncertainty around that. Go ahead, Matt, please.
Yeah, currently there's the one new emergency response trailer designed specifically to respond to specialized low volume but high risk incidents. The design will enable us to equip our responders with the necessary tools and equipment for those unique situations, some of which have been spoken to, the ice water rescue, the grain entrapment.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Holford, please.
I feel like in the conversation around training, there was more geared towards building additions onto the fire halls for the guys to be able to amalgamate together and do their thing.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion, or are there items that you wish to withdraw from the interim budget for further review? Councillor Johnson.
Do I make a motion then that we withdraw the trailer? I think that's our next step.
I think that needs to be the procedure, that item by item we deal with it one at a time, and if they're withdrawn as was indicated, I think we should indicate that we're sending it back for more information so that we will reconsider it as per the budget, but just not on the interim budget, right? I think that's the right procedure. You have a motion?
I would like to make the motion that we withdraw the emergency response trailer from the interim budget.
For further review?
For further review.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Screever.
Yeah, I just want to maybe through the chair check with and see, now that we're discussing the trailer, emergency response trailer with respect to cold water rescue and the grain problem, I'm just wondering if we're opening up ourselves to any liability issue if we don't approve that trailer and something happens and there's a problem. I don't know if there's precedent for that. If we don't approve this, something happens and we can't respond quick enough from Brooks. is there any kickback to the county? I guess this would be a question for the CAO.
Okay, go ahead, Matt, please.
Yeah, I'll regurgitate some of the things I like to say when it comes to service levels. I think the first answer is no. Council's not obligated to provide a fire service in the first instance. The requests that administration brings are risk-based, so administration will identify the risk, and then around this table, we get to decide, do we accept the risk, which we've done for decades in the county. We haven't had one of these trailers up till now. Do we invest to mitigate the risk? So that's the trailer option, or insurance. And we've got insurance to cover. So I don't think there's any additional risk by virtue of not deciding to invest in the emergency response trailer.
Okay, thank you for that response. Councillor Screever, follow up?
Yeah, and I do think that, with respect to our largest body of water where most of the people are on, they would be responding from Brooks also. So, yeah, I think that our risk is, in my opinion, fine if we don't approve this trailer. But, so I'm in favor of this motion on my standpoint.
Okay, thank you. Just for clarity, this was a motion. This motion is to withdraw it from the interim budget, but for reconsideration as part of the overall budget going forward in 2026. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, please indicate. Okay, opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Is there a motion, any further consideration or discussion around the interim budget? Go ahead, Councillor Johnson.
I just asked for clarification. One of the other fire requests was for a training ground around the Patricia Fire Station, and I'm just wondering what stations have training grounds in terms of ability to work together. If, for example, Dutchess had, or I know Rolling Hills has. I'm just not aware of where they are, and I'm not sure if anyone here could answer that.
CAO Fensky, please.
That's a skill testing question I don't have the entire answer to, but Rolling Hills does have a training area. Bassano Fire Hall has an enclosed fenced area. I'm trying to think everywhere else. But.
Okay, Councillor Screever, thank you.
Yeah, getting away from the fire, I'm just wondering about the wastewater project, Brooks wastewater project. That 1.5 million, is that it, or is there going to be additional funds that are going to be asked for?
Matt, please.
Yeah, through the chair. So I'll remind council, there's $1.5 million in for 2026 and 1.8 million in for 2027. Total, do the math for me, 3.3, which is based on an estimated 10% share of that overall project cost. Over the next few months, administration's working on updating the wastewater service agreement with the city of Brooks. Part of that will include a capital component, how capital should be funded between Lake Newell Resort and the city. We anticipate, as administration, getting together with the community association down at the resort to have these conversations about the impact that is going to be felt by the residents. But the total estimate today is just that, an estimate based on 10% share of that project cost.
Thank you. Councillor Screever.
Yeah, I'm questioning the 10%. I think the 1.5 is fine for now, but the 10% means that we're looking at, if it's only servicing Lake Newell Resort and none of the other residential subdivisions and hamlets around the area, and there's no real use of that other than from Lake Newell Resort, that means that we would have to probably grow by 3 or 4 times in order at the resort, and I don't think it's there. That's a pretty substantial amount. I'm just wondering how far out are we looking for growth at that hamlet, and is 10% is that in stone, or is that something that we can negotiate?
Thanks, Councillor. Matt, please.
Yeah, excellent questions. Through the chair, it's in play negotiating. Currently, Lake Newell Resort comprises just around 5% of the wastewater volumes that go to the lagoon. So we know we need at least 5%. The original agreement for Lake Newell Resort contemplated the entire development and laid claim to, I think, 770 units being built out over time. So that will be a separate conversation with council in terms of, is it 10%, is it 6%, is it, we'll have that conversation as part of the wastewater agreement being updated. And short answer to, is the 1.5, 3.3 in stone? No, it's not in stone. It's included in the budget so we can get started, and we're going to sort out and lock down the details over the next number of months, including identifying what grant sources are available for offsetting, what share of local improvement tax may be reasonable to put on the residents at Lake Newell Resort. So excellent questions, and all details we need to lock down over the next number of months.
But specifics at this point would not realistically be available because of that. Thank you. Councillor Kopp.
Going off on another strain, through the chair, the 1.2 that we have noted for the JBS road, can we just kind of break that down exactly what that's covering, like what we're covering out of that, or is part of that going to be brought back with grants or from the Alberta government, just where that sits, please?
Thank you. Have you got that information, Matt? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, the 1.2 that you see in budget is covered off by the STIP grant. So there's an access road, new road that'll be built from the plant to Township Road 19-2. There will be some intersection improvements at Highway 873 19-2, and if I remember the final design, there'll be a southbound lane that connects with the off-ramp to Highway 1. That's the entire project, yeah.
Okay, that's the answer. Thank you. Councillor Johnson, please.
The Gem Ballast Pit Road, we have it coming in at over 4.5. 4.529 million. And that was more than I thought the quote was in the RFD that we saw. So I'm just wondering why the costs are higher than what we saw.
Thank you for the question. Go ahead.
Excellent question. Through the chair, the approach administration's taking with the Gem Ballast Pit Road is taking the largest number in that report. Council will recall there's 4 options. What Mark and his crew are going to do proceeding on this is starting at the cheapest option, seeing if we can secure the land for the cheapest option, and then working their way up. So we've got the ceiling of the 4.5 being the most expensive option. I imagine if we get through option 1, 2, and haven't had success, we'll be coming back to council for some guidance on that one. But that's the philosophy behind that approach.
Thank you. So basically, in effect, the interim budget is taking the outs, trying to encapsulate all of the possibilities, right? Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Johnson.
I raised last time that I'm concerned about the amount of money that we are putting towards paving. I do think that we're investing too much in the paving right now, and I'm just wondering, the numbers that we have for the cost, how old are those numbers, and what is the likelihood they're going to be higher than what we have in our budget?
Thank you. Matt, go ahead.
I cannot speak to the probability of them being higher or lower. The estimates that administration prepares for budget, we don't spend a ton of money with engineers getting a detailed design, which gets you a tighter cost estimate. So will the number be different than what you see in budget? Yes, absolutely. Will it be higher or lower? Only the market at the particular time you kick it out to tender will tell. I will remind council, each of these projects far exceed the threshold for administration's purchasing approval, and they will all come back to council. So the big question today is, of the projects that have been proposed, is council willing to take the next step and invest the engineering dollars to get the detailed design and an updated, more precise cost estimate? I will caution you that even the engineer's estimate is never what you end up paying for a project, but it's a little bit tighter in terms of quantities and prices for materials at a given time.
Thank you for that, and I think it, in effect, provides some good information about our interim budget, that it's basically casting a direction on where we think we can go, but the details of exactly what is implemented or what is acted on and what isn't is still ahead of us. But thank you for that. Any further questions? Go ahead, Councillor Baumgart.
But that is reassuring to hear, and it makes sense to wait to get more detailed information. I'm wondering if we can add to that information package some of the background information that was spoken to in the last meeting in terms of what sort of economic development and or benefits are gained by the paving. So I know this may have been discussed in the past before my term, but I'd like to see some more quantification of the justification for the paving. Like, is there a lot of cattle liners? Is there oil field hauling? Like, how directly does this paving benefit the ratepayers, if nothing else, to give comfort that the large sums of money are spent wisely? So I'm hoping we can package that in when we get the more detailed information from the engineers and whatnot.
Thank you for that. You got a comment, Matt, or no? You're good. Go ahead.
Administration would seek clarity from council what level of analysis, if you want to see an economic development analysis, what that looks like. Are you looking for anecdotal? Are you looking for traffic counts to back that up? If you're looking for cattle liner counts and things like that, that requires resources and an administrative effort to quantify. So how far down the rabbit hole is council looking to go for if a particular road is paved, what is the potential economic development outcome from that?
Thank you for that. Councillor Neil Johnson, please. And then
Through the chair, what did we do for the other paving? The past project?
Through the chair, anecdotal.
And I would remind council too that a number of the paving projects that we had on that list were connectors, smaller projects that connected existing good roads and were opportunistic in some respects with regard to lining them up with other projects that were happening. So, and the other thing is that I think generally the traffic counts are not good in terms of that being the primary driver for paving most of the rural, or any of the rural roads that we have. Generally, the traffic counts are not over the top, but we look at improving the quality of life for drivers in various areas. So unless someone has specifics, Councillor Chrisman, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, you took some of my thunder already, but I did want to point out to council that roads are our number one business. Roads connect people, roads take us where we want to be, and the best way to get there is on a paved road, let's face it. So I'm not suggesting that we're being over cautious on this. I'm just suggesting that these roads are, I see them as cleanups. They're connecting to other pavement. They're taking traffic where they need to be, and in some cases, they're taking them into the city and out of the city. They're great cleanup roads, in my opinion. And to the Reeve, if you are ready, I would like to make a motion to pass the interim budget as edited.
I will accept that motion with gratitude. Any further conversation? This is good conversation, by the way. I'm not suggesting that we shorten this. I think these are good questions that we're asking. And go ahead, Councillor Hofer.
The one consideration on the paving, elaborating to Dan's question there as well, is that can we see a difference in the cost of graveling, grading, and all of the above on the gravel roads as opposed to a road being paved and the years of service it can provide without having to do any more work to it?
Thank you for the question. Who's got the answer? Invite Mark Harbrington, our Municipal Services Director.
Yeah, generally speaking, across the board, your gravel roads cost about $5,000 per year per kilometer. So that's grading, graveling, everything else that needs to be tended to. When you get into paving a road, there's lots of specifics that warrant, but let's talk $1.2, $1.3 million per kilometer. And then you've got line painting, crack sealing, different level of preventative maintenance on that. Go a little bit further with that. The directives have always been connecting communities to communities, commodities to market, and people to destinations. Back to interim presentation, I talked about those connector roads is what you're looking at immediately around Brooks, where you have your higher traffic volumes, where a lot of people are leaving the city, getting to their places of work. And also, you got north industrial sectors, south industrial sectors. You're trying to connect all of that for economic development and commodity movement. So hopefully round that out at a high level and concisely for you.
Thank you for that. Are there any further questions? Councillor Johnson, please go ahead.
Could it just be added on the cost of, I know paving is really expensive. When you have to redo it in 20 years, but the cost is somewhat less because you're not doing it road-based. So could you give a cost to that as well?
Generally, what was it, Jeff? 300,000 kilometer overlay, and whatever it's going to be in 20 years, wherever commodities move to. So,
I think that's thank you for that. Go ahead, Councillor Screever.
Yeah, and I think the roads in and around Brooks, moving people around on those, especially those truck routes, are important. One of my big questions, though, is that highway from Tilly to 875. It's been said that it's quite busy, very busy, and it should be paved by staff. That there is quite a bit of traffic. Councillor Baumgartner, I think it might be a good idea that we expand on what you had said. Just an idea of talking with some of our major transporters of crude, oil, and livestock within the area, how much they actually use that road, and just get a good idea what kind of commercial heavy traffic is on there. They would be able to, their routes are pretty specific, and their routes are usually don't change that much from well to well and farm to farm and ranch to ranch. I think it's a good idea even just to get an idea how many trucks are on that road, so that we can make a really good decision on that long stretch of highway, because it's more than just connecting Tilly to Brooks. There's commercial traffic, we just don't know how much.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Baumgarten.
No, I much appreciate it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So I think this is mostly anecdotal. I don't think this is involving in-depth studies. Just in my past experience justifying large capital projects, you have your ducks in a row before you do it. So I just want to see those ducks. So yeah, I think that should be able to be obtained rather simply by calling the commercial carriers and or trucking outfits that use that road. That doesn't sound like an expensive or lengthy endeavor to me. So something like that would be, I think, very beneficial. And again, I'm not trying to sewer the project. I just want to sort of bulletproof the justification is really what I'm after here. So thank you.
Thank you. Well said. Mark, you've got a comment?
Yeah, through the chair, we presented traffic counts with all of those projects as they came about. We did traffic counts on 18.2, 14.5, Old Highway 1 leading out to the hamlet of Tilly. They were all part of the interim budget presentation and summary. So, It's all there. It's known by us. If we need to reiterate the summary, we can bring that back, I guess, if that's.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Does that traffic count differentiate between heavy hauler trucks and everybody else? Okay, cool. Yeah, I
Yes.
haven't seen the details, but appreciate that.
Thank you. That's good. So I think this is excellent scrutiny and good conversation around some big expenditures. And I think also a clear indication that the evidence and the conversation will continue before any of these projects are fully implemented. Correct. So any other questions or comments or a motion? We have a motion on the floor. Are you ready for the question? All in favor that we approve the interim budget, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Thank you for that information from staff and also from the scrutiny that councillors have brought to the table this morning. I think it's an excellent conversation. Well, we're right back on schedule. It being 11 o'clock, we will take item 9.2 of the road closure approval to proceed on the northeast of 8 and the northwest of 9, 2217 west of 4. Maria, go ahead. We have the applicant has joined us as well. Mr. Jonathan and Lee Pickett, welcome here. Do you want to take the table? And I think we'll start with introductions and then we're all familiar. Welcome, Jonathan and Lee. Neil, why don't you start to begin with?
Neil Johnson, Councillor, Division 7, North of Brooks.
Good morning, Nadina Scandrup, Division 2, the hamlet of Tilly and surrounding area.
Ben Hofer, Division 8, Dutchess.
Good morning and welcome. Greg Screever, Division 5, Lake Newell Resort and south of Brooks.
Morning, Kelly Chrisman, Division 6.
Arno Dirksen, the hamlet and area around the hamlet of Gem, as well as the countryside around the village of Rosemary. Division 9.
Morning, Matt Finsky, CAO.
Hi, Holly Johnson, Division 4, Scandia, Rainier, Bow City, Castles, and Antelope Creek areas.
Hi, Dan Baumgarten, Division 1, Rolling Hills.
Good morning, I'm Lynette Kopp, Division 3, Patricia Millicent area.
Good morning, Ariana Nielsen, Executive Assistant.
Hello, Catherine Siakla, Communications Officer.
I am Maria Jackson, Supervisor of Planning and Development.
Go ahead, Maria, please.
Thank you. So this is an application to close a road, and the applicants are requesting approval to proceed with the closure and sale of a portion of road outlined in maps attached to your agenda. The lands are in Division 9, 12 kilometers northeast of Bizano, and all parcels in the area are zoned Agriculture General District. The total road allowance is 130 meters and includes 0.64 acres of land. The applicant has an approved development permit to construct a house on the 1.91 acre parcel between Township Road 22-2 and the North Branch Canal. They would like to purchase the road allowance for more buildable space on the parcel, as the required setbacks in the land use bylaw from property lines is 6 meters and the setbacks from road allowances is 30 meters. So on this attached map, it's hard to see, but there's a yellow line that shows what the setbacks are and what the buildable area would be. And the applicant has supplied this, so this actually wasn't included in your package, but the white, this white part is your proposed house, and then a proposed shop development in the future is the gray. So the applicant would like to purchase the road allowance to consolidate it with the property. This will allow for that shop to be located as is on this parcel. Otherwise, it would have to be on the north side of that. Oh no, that's not north, but on the other side of that dotted yellow line. So leasing would also be an option, but then they would be more restricted. It is in policy 053-25, the use of county roads and road allowances, that council could consider selling a road. However, that alternate access should be provided. So I have discussed this with the EID, and they have indicated that the North Branch Canal is necessary to provide water for irrigation acres downstream, and there are no plans to decommission that canal. So right now, a portion of that road to be closed. Could I go to a different map? The portion of that road to be closed is between the township road and the canal. So it is cut off from the rest of the grid as it sits now. The application was circulated to internal departments. Comments received included a recommendation that the application be considered as lease only. Should this section of road allowance be sold, it will forever prevent the construction of a road on the entire length of the undeveloped road allowance south of the canal. So it is administration's recommendation that council consider approval of the road closure and lease. And the applicants are here to speak.
Thank you, Maria. Welcome, Jonathan and Lee. If you want to speak to this, you're welcome to present to council at this point. So, and I will open for questions. I'm sure there'll be questions as you talk about this as well. So welcome here this morning.
Thank you. I'm Jonathan, and my wife Christine and I and our 3 kids are really looking forward to developing on some family land and raising the next generation of ranchers on this land that's been in the family for a long time. The big reasons we have for wanting to close this road. Number one, the ideal access point for where we would like to build our house and shop and whatnot is right at the corner there at the top of the road allowance. Just in the bottom left corner here. So on the road allowance, you can see there's the county water crosses the township road there. And where the white block is, that's the house that we've got designed. Ideally, we would like to be able to access the house and garage without having to cross over where we'll develop our water supply for the house to avoid pushing frost down into the water line. There's also the most clearance underneath the overhead power line that crosses there. Moving tractors and whatnot through, that would be the best spot to do so. It's also from where we would like to have our house built here. You can see people coming into the driveway from within the house. That house is the way the hills are on this property, it's a little tough to locate everything, but it's quite hilly, and so we're fairly limited in where we can build nice level elevated properties. It's a beautiful view from up there. We're pretty excited about it, and we've kind of designed our house with that in mind. And we're hoping that we can get this vision put together here. As you can see, the gray area there that is within the development setback is my ideal spot to put a shop where I can store machinery and what have you. If we were able to, at council's discretion, to purchase that road allowance and be able to move that setback back to the 6-meter line, that would open that space up for the development that we would envision there. One of the big reasons that I started this process when we were talking about all this was, being able to utilize that access point, being able to put a gate there, be able to lock it for privacy. There's no reason for anybody to drive down there, unless they're just trying to pry into our yard and have a look. The EID has county has a crossing over the EID canal there, just to the east side of the property. And the other point we wanted to make was that having the shop and the house on the same property on the same side of the road prevent kids and dogs and whatnot from having to cross the road to access machinery or recreational toys or whatever. The other safety concern that we have is the township road that carries on to the west there. It's a pretty steep hill, and from where the range road crosses it, you can see down the other side of the hill, see the traffic coming. If you move that access point a little farther to the east, you do not see that. And that's a fairly busy township road with the oil field traffic, and guys get kind of screaming by there sometimes. So, those were the main points we had. And I'd like to turn it over to council to discuss.
Thank you for the presentation, Jonathan. Appreciate that. Just there'll be questions, I'm sure. Do we have a map that expands past this at all so that we can see the crossing on the canal that's existing? And just for clarity, your preferred access is just to my left, and if you're looking behind me, to your left of that red line, right? And that is the road allowance. And as your shop, that gray shop proposal is right up against the existing road allowance, is that what you're showing?
That's correct.
Yeah, thank you. Are there other questions? Councillor Johnson and then Councillor Screever. Go ahead, please.
Hi. I don't know this area at all. Could I just get some clarification as to, like, is that what looks like north-south to me? Looks like north of where you want to close it. Is that a busy road? Is that used? Is like, can you give me some background to where? And again, and to Maria about the water line, can you explain in more detail what the water line concern is?
So that road that carries north is developed mostly for oil field access and to access some of the farmland up there, but it is not a busy commercial road, not nearly as much as the township road. There's a lot more development farther west down that township road than there is north on the range road.
Thank you. Oh, Ray, you've got some clarification?
Just to comment on the water line. So right now, the red line shows where the regional water line is. So this is where the hydrant is, and then it will be the applicant's responsibility to bring the water from here to their property. So the concern of the applicant, and make sure I'm saying this correctly, but they would like to bring the water line along this road to their house. And the ideal approach off this township road would be here should this not be approved for development, which means that they would be crossing their water line, and that could impact the integrity of their water line. So they would like to cross over Township Road 22-2 and then come down this way so that that water line isn't impacted.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Screever.
Township Road 22-2, is that a paved road? Is that a gravel road?
That's a gravel road.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kopp, please.
Is the property on both sides of the road allowance owned by the applicant?
Just the eastward side.
Okay, thank you. So to our left of the road allowance is not your property, is that right? Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. To the west. Yeah, yeah. Pardon me? Go. Oh, Councillor Kopp, go ahead. Please follow up.
So do we, I guess through the chair, this will be to Maria, do we talk to the other owner of the other side? How does that work? Like, do they have a say on any of this?
Go ahead, Maria, please.
Yes, so should council provide approval to proceed, either with a lease or sale, either way, we will circulate this to all adjacent landowners. They'll have the ability to comment. So this piece here does have access from this township road. However, if this is to be sold, that access from this portion would be removed from here. If council decides to close and lease, we could make provisions in the lease agreement that access could be maintained to that parcel. But the landowner, this is a different landowner, and this is a different landowner, and this is a different land. So it's 3 different landowners all around.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Johnson, please.
Through the chair, does the lease option work for you guys? I mean, you're talking about spending a lot of money on this piece of leased ground.
I mean, if that's council's decision, that would be what we would have to settle with. I guess the reason why we're asking to purchase it is for the future development, being able to put the shop where it makes the most sense to me. Would council be willing to look at a 0 variance type of thing, or an increased variance up against that lease that would maybe facilitate that shop? Then that would also be an option potentially.
Okay, thank you. But that is, yeah, that's also a big ask in some ways, isn't it? To have 0 variance if you think that the road allowance is ever going to be used. Now, it's a long shot to think that there's going to be a through road through there at any point because of where the canal is. But is my perspective on it. Any other questions? Councillor Johnson, did that answer your question adequately? Any other questions or comments? Councillor Holly Johnson.
You said it's quite hilly, so the spot you have for your shop, do you want it that close because you feel it's too hilly other places to put it? Or what was your reasoning for wanting it with 0 variance?
Go ahead.
That spot is definitely apart from where the house is situated, that spot is the flattest, best high ground to put a building with structural integrity. And then of course, prevailing winds and things like that, considering drifting or where you will open your doors on your shop and how you actually make it functional and usable in all seasons. That is the ideal spot, which is why I'm bringing it forward. It would obviously be up to council on whether that's appropriate or not.
Okay, thank you for that. Are there any other questions? Councillor Johnson.
And just to clarify the driveway, you're preferring that it comes off that road allowance, and there's no reason it can't be off that road allowance, right? That's Maria? Or am I misunderstanding?
Go ahead.
The applicant could develop a driveway on this road allowance for their use should it be closed and leased. Access could also be maintained or could be used from that road if it's not closed at all. However, it would need to be built to a county standard. So that's a significant investment.
Yeah, which wouldn't be on the books at this point because there would otherwise be access off that, is it North Road, right? So, yeah. Or at the East-West Road. Go ahead, please.
I guess maybe just to clarify, access can happen from here should it be closed and leased, and then also closed and sold, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments? Any discussion? Councillor Chrisman.
This is a tough one. Whenever it's a tough one, I always go back to our regular practices. And our regular practices are that we don't sell Crown land. These are not our roads, they're the province's roads, and we don't know what the future is. This attaches to a main body of water. We have landowners on 3 of the 4 sides that are not in the room today. I don't think we're equipped to sell it today. That's my opinion. As much as I understand, Jonathan, your planning and but I really don't think that, had you come in with information saying that you approached all 3 other landowners, and that would have added weight to our decision. I'm struggling without going public with this and selling land out from under the other landowners. So I'm prepared to make a motion. Would anybody else like to make that motion? I'm leaning away from selling. I'm in favor of the 10-year lease, and renewal probably not a problem. We have lots of those in the county, and it's not a detriment other than you wanting to the 0 for future planning, but
Two things. I think that we need to understand the procedure of how land of that would either be closed or sold. There's procedure in front of us with regard to either of those options that would involve and invite the input from neighboring landowners for sure. Maybe Maria, you can take us through those procedures, please.
Sure. So this approval to proceed is just to present the idea to council and get a feel for how you'd wish to proceed. So it still needs to become a bylaw and come to council for first, second, and third reading. Should council be in favor of the idea of closure and sale, then we will discuss with the adjacent landowners. We'll send it to the required referrals. We'll get Alberta Transportation's take on it. Should anything negative come back from that, then council could consider that at the time of first reading, and it could still be defeated. At that point, the option to close and lease could be considered. So I guess that's the procedure.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Screever.
The implications of close and lease with a 0 setback. Just wondering, future down the road, if there was a development, what would be the ramifications for the shop, the landowner? Would it need to be dismantled if there is a future for that road, the use of that road allowance? I'm thinking that's what the case would be, but what is the likelihood of that happening? Because right now I'm more supporting a lease with a 0 setback, but I want to know what the ramifications of doing that is.
Thank you. Go ahead, Maria, please.
So if this road is closed and leased, and then we get a development permit for a shop requesting a 0 lot line or maybe even 3 meters, we could discuss it at that point. The ramifications would be, should that road ever be developed, then we have a structure on the road that could impact the integrity of the road, so drifting and different things. Council, I think, needs to look at these road allowances in, 100, 200 years, what is going to be the need at that time. Once it's gone, it's gone. However, the lifespan of a shop might not be that long. So I guess those are things to consider once this comes to MPC as a request for a variance.
Okay, thank you. I think one of the other things that was commented on also, I think, is that in the event of a road closure and sale, for example, one of the things you'd consider is an alternate route, right? Now, does that, and this is a question, would that implicate purchasing land beside the road allowance to offset it or something like that? Or what's the, how would that play out? That was a comment that I heard somewhere, and I'm just wondering what we're thinking of in regard to that. Go ahead, please, Maria.
I think that could play out in different ways. We can definitely think outside the box a little bit. That might look like a caveat on title that should council need, or should the county need that land in the future, then they can take it without any compensation, some sort of agreement. Or what we have done typically is that alternate access is provided in the form of a road plan. So that is something that could be discussed at the time of first reading, should council wish to go that way.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Lee, you were going to say, you had your hand. Did you want to speak to some of this? I missed coming back to you.
No,
sorry.
No, it was more on the procedure and the process that I was just going to question. I guess one comment, if there is an alternate route requested, there is the road allowance that goes straight south from there all the way to the other grid road. Like that right there where that arrow is, that would be an access from the south that could come. It's not shown on the map, but that goes all the way down to the graveled road that goes back towards Bizano, right, to the Crawling Valley.
Right, which at this point is intercepted further east, right? Or the existing road is a mile east, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and south from there.
Yeah.
And I guess just being as I have the mic, I was trying to let Jonathan do all of his talking, but in my discussions with Ivan at the EID was that, and his comment with we both agreed that in our lifetimes that canal will never be changed, and they have no interest in adding another crossing to the canal as it exists now.
Right.
So.
Okay, thank you for that, and I think council wants to accommodate whatever as much as we can here, is my sense of what we're saying, and also to welcome your vision for this area and development. That's what we're about. So, and regardless of how we proceed with this, there will be procedure, right? I mean, I think at the very least we'd consider closure, and then the closure for sale. What's council's direction with regard to this? In either case, if we consider closure and sale, we're not committed to it till we've had public hearings and public response. But I'm open to council's direction. Councillor Johnson, please.
I'm leaning toward, I think a sale is the best if we could maneuver it. And I think we need a little bit more information to put this all together. It's kind of loose right now, but I just, I would support a sale over a lease.
Thank you. Councillor Scandrup, please.
I'd like to see this guy get a shop. I would also support a sale.
Thank you. Okay, we want to move forward here as judiciously as we can. What we could, I think, Matt, we'd be open to a motion to proceed with this, recognizing that there is procedure around both the closure and the closure for sale. So if there's direction from council one way or the other, we can move forward with that and consider that. Councillor Johnson.
Could we get information look at the lease and lots of information on the sale so we have something to choose from? Like, I don't have enough information right now to pull the trigger on anything, to tell you the truth.
Okay. Pardon me, sir, go ahead, Matt. I think we want to move one way or the other, probably, because either decision doesn't lock us into that. If we decided to, sale could be considered later if it needed to be, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to make the motion for option 1. That's approval to proceed with the road closure and sale.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Ready for the question? All in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. Thanks for coming in today. I think you can appreciate that council struggles with a decision like this, but we're also very supportive of your vision for this area and your confidence in our county as a place to invest. So welcome and thank you for coming in, and we'll move forward.
Thank you all for your time.
Do you want to take 5? Okay, we'll take 5. Call this meeting back to order, and we are on to item 9.3, road closure approval to proceed east of 28 and southeast of 33, 22, 17, and west of 27 and southwest of 34, 22, 17. Maria, please.
Thank you. This application is located in Division 3, 5 kilometers northeast of Patricia. All parcels in the area are zoned agriculture, and the total road allowance the applicant would like to close and lease is 2,400 meters and includes 12 acres of land. The applicant would like to close the road allowance in order to restrict public access. They have been having problems with trespassing on their land and would like to install a gate to close off the road allowance. The road allowance has an unmaintained trail used to access a well site. This access can be maintained through provisions in the lease agreement. The same landowner owns the land on both sides of the road allowance, with the exception of the quarter that has access from Township 24, which is right here. This application was circulated to internal departments. There was a concern that there are different landowners on either side of the road for the first half mile, and it could be considered to reduce the section of closed road by that one quarter section. The options that council can consider are approval to proceed with the road closure and lease. You could request additional information or refuse the road closure application, and it is recommended that council give approval to proceed with road closure and lease for the full amount. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Are there questions from Councilor Johnson? Please go ahead.
I agree with the road closure as usual, but you know my question. What are you going to charge for this? Because you're taking away, they're getting the road allowance for next to nothing. And it's a pretty good improvement to their places.
Thank you. Go ahead, Maria, please.
I believe council just approved an increase through the schedule of fees. So the new lease rate is $120 per quarter section. So per 4 acres, which is about $30 per acre. So that times 3 per year, and then we request a 10-year lease. So this would be, 12 acres total times that $30 an acre, or $120 per half mile.
Yearly. Yeah, no, that's a good increase in fees.
So
right
I have a question. Who's using the road allowance now? Go ahead.
The landowner is using the road allowance now. They own these 5 quarter sections. Mm-hmm. This is owned by someone else, and they access actually off of the township road right here. So specifically during hunting season, the applicant is having problems with people accessing the road allowance, which is okay. However, the deer aren't always on the road allowance, and so they're having some problems with the trespassing there. Mm-hmm. So they currently, right now, there's a trail that goes to this well site that's right here. So this portion of road really is a road. However, it's only for the use for that well site, which can be maintained through the lease agreement. And then this mile here is utilized only by the landowner.
So for clarity, the whole thing could be closed, but the lease access still stays in place even with the road closure, is what you're saying, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and effectively, the only thing that's changing in terms of is control, basically, and the ability to control, right? Go ahead.
The landowner will, if it's closed, then the landowner will have the ability to put a gate here and restrict access.
Right. Okay, thank you. Councillor Kopp, please.
So through the chair, Maria, do the pivot circle, do they access their land from that road allowance that we're talking about closing and leasing? Or do they access from a different point? And has it been discussed with that other landowner, any of this?
Go ahead.
Right now, just through reviewing the photos, the access point is right here off of the township road here. Should council approve this approval to proceed, then we will discuss with that landowner, ensure that they are okay with the closure and lease. And again, access, should they want to access off of this portion, if they are agreeable to it, they could also continue utilizing it through provisions in the lease agreement.
And there's a public process involved in the consideration for closing the road as well, just so that, remember that. Go ahead, follow up, Councillor Kopp.
I'd be ready to make the motion then.
Okay, thank you. I'll accept the motion, but I've got a comment here. No? Okay, any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Let's move on to 9.3.1, right? Road closure. 9.4. Sorry, 9.4, safety codes inspection. Agency contract, sorry. You're not done with me yet. No, I'm happy about that.
Okay, thank you. This is a request for decision from council for issuing a new safety codes inspection agency contract for 2026 to 2029, so 3 years. So we have always used Park Enterprises Ltd. For our safety codes inspection services, and our agreement expired in July of 2025. We, at that point, had agreed for a 6-month extension for their continued service to December 31st. Planning and development staff put out a request for proposal, which was advertised from September 1st to October 1st, and 3 accredited agencies responded to our RFP. We advertised in accordance with the county purchasing policy, and responses were received from Park Enterprises, the Inspections Group, and Superior Safety Codes. 3 planning and development staff reviewed the RFPs based on specific criteria that were outlined in the RFP. And through that, our highest scored, I guess, company was the Inspections Group. The 3 agencies offer very similar services. They all have online platforms for record management. Their procedures and processes were all very similar. However, the proposed fee structure splits presented were different between the 3 agencies. And so we also reached out to several municipalities that use all 3 of the, or different, I guess, safety inspection services, and the Inspectors Group rated the highest amongst our peers. So although they weren't the best fee structure, I think they were very close, and the references made it so that they ranked the highest. So staff is recommending that council approve the Inspectors Group as our new inspection agency, and that we sign a 3-year contract with the Inspections Group as per, to provide services as per our quality management plan and the Alberta Safety Code standard. So there will be a little bit of a transition period, which we have discussed and we think will go as smoothly as possible. Thanks.
Thank you for that presentation. Are there questions? Councillor Screever.
Yeah, if you could just let me know where Inspection Group, where are they out of? Where's their head office? And also Park, is that out of Lethbridge, I believe? Is that their head office? Or, yeah, I'm just wondering where these companies are from.
Go ahead, please.
Park Enterprises is out of Lethbridge. Inspections Group has an office in Lethbridge, but they also have offices in Red Deer and Edmonton as well.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
Well, I know there's a transition process, but what would happen with builds that are in process I'll use the Scandia Hall, for example. We've been working with Park. So what do you envision as going forward?
Go ahead, please.
Our hope is that Park Enterprises will finish the permits that they have started, as they've been paid for those, and we can finish out those, and then anything new starting in January will be sent to the inspectors group. Should the transition not happen like we had hoped, there is a significant cost savings that we can still, you know, have some float to get through that transition period and not end up behind in revenue.
Thank you. Any other questions? In terms of standards, there's no variation at all. That continues as it would have been, right? Right.
We are confident that all three groups will provide a very similar service. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson?
I'd like to move option 1.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve option 1, please indicate. Opposed, that's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Marie and Shanley. Let's move on to 9.5. Welcome, Sherry Christensen, the Corporate Health and Safety Committee, Council's Statement of Commitment. Welcome.
Thank you. Through Reeve Dirksen to Council, good morning. Thank you for your time and consideration this morning. I'm here on behalf of our Corporate Health and Safety Committee and staff to request that Council consider endorsing an updated occupational health and safety commitment statement for the County of Newell. A bit of history, Council has been endorsing a commitment statement for almost 2 decades already, and it is our hope that this new Council will continue that practice and reaffirm its support of the organization's efforts to maintain a healthy, safe, and secure environment. The request before you today provides 4 options. Option 1, adopt the same statement that was in place during the outgoing Council's term. Option 2, adopt a very similar statement that has been updated slightly to incorporate more modern terminology and reflect current best practices. Option 3, work together as a council to create a new statement that reflects your collective voice. Or option 4, choose not to endorse a statement at this time and omit it entirely. At this time, I would like to recommend that Council approve option 2 as presented or option 3. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Sherry. Are there questions? Go ahead, Councillor.
Not really a question, just a statement. I like the new one, and I like the fact that you added "and all those we serve." I like that part. So I would make the motion to accept option 2.
Thank you for that. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, please indicate. That is carried unanimously. Thank you, Sherry.
Through the Reeve Council, thank you for the approval.
Thank you for the good work you do on behalf of all of us. Uh, 9.7. Support for the City of Brooks, Alberta Community Partnership Grant Application Transportation Study. Pardon me.
Back to
9.6, yeah, policy review, personnel. Go ahead, please. Sorry.
Getting through agenda items even faster. Through the chair, a little bit of housekeeping. Personnel policy seems to be one of those that we revisit from time to time. It's been a great benefit to us to have a new set of eyes on the personnel policy with our new personnel and safety services crew upstairs. So as questions arise from staff who we sometimes confuse with our poor use of the English language through policy, we try and round off some of these edges from time to time. So you'll see some of the highlights there. First item, removing the potential involvement of the Reeve in the performance review dispute resolution process. taking a page from Mr. Cuff and keeping you out of the kitchen. So I guess if any of my direct reports have an issue with the performance review stuff, we'll cross that road when we get there. Has not been an issue in my time in the seat. A little bit of housekeeping on the job descriptions or position descriptions that are referenced throughout the policy. We've updated our math skills on calculating long service for employees. What else do we have in here? Adding requirements and clarity around unpaid leave and long-term disability, all around internal coordination, actual agreement requirements, and just putting it in plain language that staff who are requesting leaves of any kind under employment standards should probably have the first conversation with our folks in personnel services to make sure everybody understands what's protected under the legislation, the notice requirements, what have you. What else do we have in here? Adding language around our salary and wage grid management. We have various grids across the organization. Salary has a few more steps than QP, which is managed under agreement. There was a little confusion with the use of the words entry level, so we've changed that to say, if you enter at the lowest level, just trying to get plain language as much as possible. So a little bit of housekeeping there and looking for council's approval as presented.
Thank you, Matt. Are there any questions or comments or a motion to approve? Anyone? Councillor Johnson? Or
Yeah, I'll make that motion. I don't see a problem with any of it.
okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, just more of a curiosity. I agree that I'm sure the Reeve doesn't really want to get involved in personnel things, but I'm just curious if there is any ideas, if you have a direct report, do they have, what is the option they have? Like if they have a potential dispute with yourself and they only have you to go to.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that too long and hard. I mean, you could kick it out to a third party if it was something significant in the world we live in the county of Newell. It's never been an issue. I don't think we've had any staff member dispute any annual review in my time here. And the personnel policy speaks to the performance review process, having to go through it, the employee needing to acknowledge the review, but not needing to agree with it. So I think the whole dispute resolution piece is maybe moot in our world, but we'd cross that road at the time it arises.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? We have a motion on the floor to approve as presented. All in favor of the motion, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Let's move on to item 9.7, support for City of Brooks, Alberta Community Partnership Grant application for transportation study. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I'll try and keep this one pretty short and sweet. The City of Brooks is applying to the Alberta Community Partnership to update their regional transportation study. It's been a number of years. Things have changed around here. We're going to see if we can't piggyback a few of the county's interests, especially right close in proximity to the City of Brooks, if we can roll that into the study. They do need a motion from council in support of the initiative and for the county to participate as a project partner. If that sounds like something council can get behind, we'd appreciate the motion.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Kopp, please.
Yeah, my question is, are we privy to the whole report then? Or, yeah? Okay. I would make the motion to.
Okay, make a motion to approve as presented. Questions, Councillor Johnson. Thank you.
Would this give insight into the proposed truck route paving plans? Like how far out does it go from the City of Brooks? I wasn't quite clear.
Yes, those are specifically some of the items we would like included with it.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments? Ready for the question? All in favor of the motion, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Item 9.8, appointment of member at large to the City of Brooks Recreation and Parks Board. Welcome, Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's left of it? Yeah.
So this was brought before council during our last meeting. We do have a completed application to go along with the request, and we'll just be seeking council's approval to proceed.
Thank you. We have the information, the application. Councillor Screever.
Yeah, I'd like to make the motion to approve Bob Krumka to the City of Brooks Recreation and Parks Board.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other conversation, comments, or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Thanks, Lane. We need to reappoint a member at large to the County of Newell Library Board. Ariana, please.
That's correct. So the Patricia representative, who is Julie Musgrove, she's agreed to serve another 3-year term. So that's the motion asking for her to be reappointed for another 3-year term expiring December 11th, 2028.
Okay, thank you. Someone prepared to make that motion? Councillor Johnson, or Baumgarten, sorry, I was looking past you. All in favor of the motion, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Requests for functions of council. Alberta Irrigation Districts Association. Ariana, you had some comments there.
Yeah, the next 5 RFDs are about upcoming conferences in 2026, so we're doing them all. In order of how they are scheduled for the year, so the Alberta Irrigation Districts Conference is February 2nd to 4th. In the past, we've sent 5, so I'm just looking for if you want to attend, to make a motion approving it as a function of council, and determine who wants to go.
Thank you for that. Councillor Johnson, please.
I would like to make a motion to make it a function of council, but I am not able to attend.
Okay, all in favor of the motion to make this a function of council, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. How many people do we want to send, or is it open? In the past, I'm not sure what our pattern has been. Yeah, it is, but we can still send a number of people if we decide to do that. Ariana, please. Yeah.
The motion was, it approved any councillor's attendance as a function of council, so I will follow up and you can let me know if you want to attend and we'll book hotels, but we should do that pretty quickly since it's February.
Perfect, yeah. Thank you. Next one is the CPAA conference. What's the acronym? It's right on the, my computer quit, so I'm at a loss for the, Community Planning Association of Alberta. I've got it on paper, that's good. Go ahead, Ariana, yeah.
All right, so CPAA conference, we've been sending 2 counselors for the past several years. I have rooms booked for 2 staff, 2 counselors at this time. That could change if you decide. The recommendation is to make a motion approving the attendance of 2 counselors to attend CPAA.
Okay, someone prepared to make that motion? Councillor Scandrup, all in favor, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
I think we felt that was a pretty good one. Maybe you want to go to 4 counselors. It is an excellent conference.
Okay, we're approved for 2. Who is prepared or like to go? Councillor Johnson would go. Who else? Okay. We've got a little time on this probably, don't we? Okay, we're approved to go. We'll just take, if you're good with that, we can deal with this in the new year. Is that reasonable? In terms of who would go? Okay, thank you. Risk Pro 2026 Symposium, April 28th to 30th. Go ahead, Ariana.
All right, this was a new one for council. We've been sending staff to this one for several years. I got the attendees who are involved to provide some feedback on the benefits of the RISCO Symposium, so that is included in the RFD. This one is April 28th to 30th, and I believe that it conflicts with the CPA conference, so there's some overlap in the days. Again, just asking if council's interested to make a motion approving it as a function. Oh no, this one is pre-approved as a function of council because it is a RMA item, so you can just decide whether to go.
Okay, Councillor Crispin, please.
I just wanted to add that is an RMA function, and they toss it between Calgary and Edmonton each year. And yes, it's important that staff goes, but also there is a council stream. So really recommend that that at least a contingent go. Whether I don't suggest that all of council needs to go. I just think it should be in our rotation to attend and bring back what is gleaned from the liability side of the world at Risk Pro.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Screever, and then Councillor Johnson.
Being someone that's interested in this kind of stuff, I would like to go to this one, and I think it would be a good opportunity to learn more on the issues at hand.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Councillor.
And just to add that I will be going, but I'll be going through RMA.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Johnson, you had a comment?
Yeah, it kind of overlaps with the CAP forum, so half council at one, half at the other, or whatever.
Okay. Again, we've got a little time on this because of the timing. We can deal with the details in the new year. Federation of Canadian Municipalities Annual Conference for the 4-year term, basically. Go ahead, Ariana.
All right, yes, this one there is time, but not really because the hotels become available in January, and this is the one I lose sleep over. So in the past, we've done a random draw to determine who is attending for each year for the entire election term. They only had the dates and locations for 2026 and 2027 at this time. What is my proposal? I think I proposed a random draw, 3 for 2026, and then 2 each for 2027, 28, and 29. If council wants to send more, that is your option.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Johnson, please.
I believe the city of Brooks was consistent in sending the mayor to every FCM, and I'm wondering if we want to look at having a consistent person attend as well as some additional councillors.
Okay, thank you. My personal opinion is that might be a good idea, but Councillor Neil Johnson. Isn't it in Edmonton this year?
Yes.
What's wrong with all of us going to Edmonton? Like, it's close by. The FCM's pretty important, and it's really hard to make, like at RMA, we develop networks. We know everybody in the hall. When you only go once every 4 years, you really don't do very much of that consistent networking. I think it's a great conference. I think for Canadian unity, we should be there, especially in the position Alberta's in right now. That's the end of my comments.
Thank you. Councillor Screever.
I'm in support of this being open to all council, especially to Edmonton. The only way that we're going to be able to make some kind of influence at the FCM at the federal level is to be show a show of force to it. So I'm in agreement with Councillor Johnson on it, especially for this one coming up, that we allow everyone to have an opportunity to go.
Okay, we'll need a motion for that to be the case. I think, and it would delay any further action for the ones in the future to some extent then. But if there's someone prepared to make a motion? Councillor Crispin. Move that FCM in Edmonton be open to all councillors. Okay, all in favor, please indicate. That is carried. Opposed? Okay, that's carried with opposition. Thank you for that. I think we can move on, hey? Councillor, or pardon me, Ariana. Yeah.
My goodness. There's one more, the Alberta Municipalities Convention in September.
Right.
Again, you can make decisions on who specifically attends, but just the number of people at this time, just because the hotels book up early and fill up fast.
Again, where is that one? Red Deer, I believe, right?
Edmonton in 2026 again.
Okay. Someone prepared to make a motion with regard to how many people attend. That guides Ariana in booking hotel rooms. They don't have to have names on them at this point, right? How many people do we want to send? Councillor Johnson, please.
Well, so everyone gets a turn. If we sent 3 people for the next 3 years, we would have everybody gone once.
Yeah.
So that would be my motion.
Okay, all in favor that we send 3 people to the... Okay, that is carried. Thank you. That completes the functions of council, right? Are there any others? Anybody has? Seeing none, we'll go to, how are we for time? Let's go through municipal services business. Mr. Mark Harbring, welcome.
Thank you. Update reports in front of you. So officers continue to be out there educating and enforcing as necessary. You can see we've done some training where we actually hosted some of our neighboring patrol officers and whatnot. That was good. Fleet and inventory, keeping up with inventory count for the year is a highlight there. That goes on every year before Christmas and is in process. Grader operators graded roads up until November 21st, 2025. Obviously, winter has set in and they've changed gears. We've not had to be out there with the graders plowing any snow yet, so they're out doing vegetation management. Those are the same team members, so we keep them busy year round, which is great. Truck drivers, winter stockpiling program, they've made great progress on that, and we'll be looking for alternative duties for them if they get that complete, but that's all weather dependent with snow and paved road operations. Maintenance operators, you can see what they've summarized there. They are also responsible for running the 2 tons through the hamlets, taking snow and ice control in under their umbrella. With that, they also operate the toolcat, which will be used to maintain the pathways. So the Kinbrook Connection Pathway from this office up to the CRA and down to Kinbrook. And we are in discussion with contractor right now over whether we can or cannot perform winter maintenance on the Lake Newell Resort Pathway. My direction there is we're going to do our best until we find if there is enough snow accumulation that it becomes prohibitive in our operations. We may have to close a portion of it, but the goal will be to try to maintain the pathway within the hamlet proper and maybe not make the connection up out of the hamlet to the Kinbrook Connection Pathway. So I think that's fair and reasonable since it's still under construction. In addition to that, lots of training going on with staff. Range Road 14-2 road construction was complete prior to freeze up. Got bridge file replacements going on, STIP funding projects here. We got a couple more that'll be going out in the new year. And that's my report. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Mark. Are there any questions? Councillor Johnson.
Where would the bridge valve replacement be in Bow City?
That is on the road going out to the colony, so a detour route has to be constructed to maintain traffic continuity, and also there's the gravel pit there that has operations coming out of it daily, so.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Crispin, please.
We had a piece of correspondence come through our email requesting a vehicle for Newell Recycling. I'm wondering where that is landing.
Thank you. Matt, please go ahead.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that in camera with council today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, a motion to approve or accept the municipal reports would be in order. Councillor Johnson, all in favor of approving, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you, Mark. Let's move on to the tender award 10.2.
Okay, through the chair, administration tendered the dust abatement product supply and placement for the 2026 through 2028 period with an option to extend into 2029. My directive to my team was let's try to explore this as being a one-time tender during council's tenure. So that's why the option for 2029. Wanted to see what those prices looked like and whether we want to exercise the fourth year, but we worded it that we would exercise that right in 2028, just to ensure that if anything happens with the market, that we are getting the best value for our taxpayer at the end of the year. We had 2 tenders submitted for tender deadline. They are summarized in your tender, with Tiger Calcium Services being the low bid for the work. And our recommendation is that we proceed in that direction. There's additional information in there about where our costs have been in the past. Just want to really highlight that low product costs have been to the benefit to the users of the system, and there is some market correction in product at this time. So there are increases that were discussed at interim budget presentation that are reflected in this tender. That's just where the market is at these days. So any questions, I'll be happy to answer. If not, a motion to approve the tender award.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, a motion with regard to direction, Councillor Screever.
I'd like that to make that a motion, please.
Option 1. Okay, thank you. All in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. That brings us to our post-agenda items, which is convenes at 1 o'clock. So we'll break for lunch, at which time after lunch we'll go in camera, but we'll take a motion at that time. Okay?